I feel a little bit like the DJ here. This is by special request for my students in Denver. You requested a balancing flow class. So this is all about balancing poses. One thing I just want to say at the start of this, balancing isn't easy and it doesn't come naturally. It's something that you have to learn. So if you fall in and out of these poses a gazillion times today, that's not a bad thing. It's just where you're at now. You come right back in, don't worry about it. All right, let's go. I'm with the DJ. go to child's pose. Right, so Nicole is going to do the entire sequence. Janice is going to modify and keep her blocks for a couple of things. Right, so if you need to modify, 2 blocks. If you don't, you're going to use 2 blocks anyway, but you can get rid of them at certain points. All right away, arms out in front of you, forehead on the mat. Start to steady out your breathing, just making it even. Inhale, exhale, smooth, steady, and longer than you normally would when you're not doing your practice. All right, both of you, reach your arms out. Now breathe. Good. And just to begin, take a big inhale in through your nose so that you feel your upper back widen, your ribs expand out to the insides of your thighs. Open your mouth and exhale the breath out. And do that again. Big breath in. And then open your mouth and let go. Good. One more time. Smooth breath in. And then a long exhale. Good. And go back to in and out through your nose. If you practice Ujjayi, you can add that element of the narrowing of the back of your throat and an audible sensation or sound to your breath. So press your hands down evenly. For some of you, you'll feel like the heel of your hand is heavier, the fingertips are heavier. Balance the weight evenly into all 4 sides of each of your hands. And then from there, let your arms lift up away from the mat, elbows straight, and firm your outer arms in towards your ears as you roll your inner arms up to the ceiling. And then from here, come up to all 4s. So you can adjust. Bring your shoulders over your wrists and your knees underneath your hips. Knees and feet hip distance apart. Okay, and then just because we're going to go to our feet and balance mostly there today, but just for effect, start to shift around in your hands, a little bit into the fingertips, a little bit into the heel of your hand, left to right, and just explore the different areas of your hands. And when you start to balance, there's this desire, because we talk so much about pressing the hands evenly, to treat them as just that. They're set in cement. But there's a little bit of wiggle room just to catch your balance as you move. So you start with your hands in that way. Right? Wrap your outer arms back. Draw your belly in for some support, and then stretch your right leg back up to the height of your hip and flex your ankle. Okay. So big toe facing straight down so your hip points are still square to the floor. And then from here, a good amount of belly work, and squeeze your hips together like you were trying to bring your inner thighs together and touch them. Now bring your left arm alongside your left ear. Good. Wrap the outer arm down so your palm is facing the right side of the room. And reach the 2 points apart, getting length from your left fingertips through your right heel. Just pay attention to any places that you've compensated the symmetry of your hips or the symmetry of your chest, squaring to the mat or the floor. Find that symmetry again, and pay attention to if you're shifting around a little bit in your right hand or in your left knee. That'll be what happens in your feet in a moment. Okay, and then set this side down and go to the other side. First start, left leg goes back, toe facing down, belly in just enough, and then right arm alongside your right ear. Wrap the outer arm down, the inner arm up, both knee and elbow straight. Reach those 2 points away from one another. Pay attention to if your left hip is hiked up slightly, if maybe you've unsquared your chest. Get your hips square to the floor, chest to the front of the mat. And then if you're shifting around a little, it's okay. Just notice how you're catching your balance. And then all the way down. And from here, you're going to step yourself back into plank pose. Okay, so straight away, shoulders underneath, or shoulders over top of your wrists. It'd be really weird if your shoulders were underneath your hands here. Draw your belly in like you just did. Push your heels back, and when you do that, your thighs will engage on their own. Now, everything nice, neutral, symmetrical line. You're just going to change it by picking your right foot up an inch. Good. Keep holding the belly in. Widening your collarbones as you do that. Press the floor down strongly. And the same amount of energy pressing back through both heels you had a moment ago. And then switch legs. Right leg goes down, left leg goes up. Hold. Good. Janice, lift your left hip a little higher. That's it. Same with you, Nicole. Left hip. Same with you out there, I'm sure. Left hip is down. Might as well lift it. Right? Put your left foot down, and on an exhale, push back into downward facing dog. All right. So first down dog, just be still today. So part of balancing is being still. So right away, instead of pedaling your feet, press the floor down, hold your legs still, heels drive down into the mat. And that same effort of lifting the thighs up. And then when your heels are hidden behind your second and third toe, imagine you were holding something very precious between your inner thighs. Squeeze your inner thighs and your shin bones together to hold that away from the floor as you take your inner legs to the back of the room. All right, inhale, come forward to plank pose. Bring your shoulders over your wrists again. Okay. So hips and shoulders, they're square right now. You want to hold that, pick your right foot up an inch. Okay. Once it's up an inch, all you're going to do is shift the weight into your right hand a little bit, firm it down evenly, and then come up onto your left fingertips and make a tent out of them. Okay, keep your left elbow straight to begin with. Good. Now, if you feel very even, symmetrical, and you have not hiked a hip up or unsquared your chest, and you want to make the left fingers a little bit lighter and lift them up off of the floor, you can. Keep your right shoulder down your back. I just said pick them up. Nothing about take the arm forward. Just pick them up. Go nuts, these two. They're like all over the place. Just pick it up. Good. All right. Good. All right, now put it back down. Put your right foot down and exhale back into downward facing dog. So you don't have to do the whole all fours thing. You're just looking for balance. Okay, second side. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Keep breathing. Pick your left foot up an inch. Okay, outer left hip lifts, belly in, chest wide. Okay, now shift into your right hand slightly, or left hand, sorry. And make your right hand into a tent. Come up onto your fingertips. Okay, keep your left hip lifting, Janice. Now, all you're going to do is, without letting anything change, hold your belly in, maybe pick your right foot up an inch off of the mat. Good. Once you get it up, just notice where you have to balance. If you have to shift around in your left hand, what you have to do with your core. Oh, yeah, it's all over the place. All right, and then set the palm down, put your foot down, and press back into downward facing dog. So one of the reasons we're not doing arm and leg like we did on all fours is it's really easy just to unsquare that. It's really hard just to lift your fingers an inch off of the floor. Okay, so now some chaturangas. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Look forward, pull your shoulders an inch beyond your wrists, but keep the weight back in your heels, and exhale halfway down chaturanga. Good. Inhale, press yourself up to plank pose, and exhale, pull your hips back into downward facing dog. Do that again. Inhale, come forward to plank. Look forward, exhale, halfway down. Inhale, press up. And exhale, pull yourself up and back. 2 more times. Inhale, glide forward, neck long, shoulders back. Exhale, bend, belly in. Inhale, press up. Exhale, pull back. Take 1 more on your own count of inhale, your own count of exhale. Good. Right, this time, inhale, glide forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower yourself halfway down. Take an extra inhale, and then exhale all the way down to the mat. Reach your arms alongside your ears now, palms facing one another, and have your feet hip distance apart. Okay. Now, when you're here, lift your right leg to start, like you did on all fours. Lift from the inner thighs, but keep both sides of your hips grounded evenly into the floor. Right, now float your left arm, your head, and your chest up off of the mat. Good. Okay, so when you lift those 2 points, there's some unevenness that might occur. Even it out, both hip points down, shoulders square. Lift from your inner left arm and your inner right leg, and then work your upper back. It's going to come in handy a little bit later. Good. Right, set that side all the way down. We'll do the second side. Lift your left leg, inner thigh leads the way. Ground your hips. You'll know that you're square then. Right arm, right side of your chest and head. Good. Reach the 2 things away from each other for length. Get height from the inner arm and the inner thigh. And then work your upper back for the last breath. Right, and then set that all the way down. Bring your hands back underneath your elbows. Draw your elbows in. Press your hands evenly down again. It's going to be a theme of the day. And then on an inhale, straighten your elbows all the way out and come into upward facing dog. Make sure your legs are very straight as well, so your thighs are up off of the mat. Hands very evenly pressing, shoulder, heads, upper arm bones, send them straight back towards the back of your mat. And on an exhale, roll up and over your toes with straight knees and push back into downward facing dog. Good. All right. And then look forward, lift your heels, bend your knees, and walk or hop yourself to the front of your mat. Feet together, big toes touching. Inhale, chest up and wide. Exhale, fold forward, let your head relax towards the mat. Press down and inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms alongside your ears. And exhale, join your hands together at heart center. Once you land there, if your feet aren't together, sometimes they don't end up that way. Bring your big toes to touch. Okay, and then hands stay in prayer. Close your eyes. Start with your feet. Just play with the balance a little. Once your eyes are closed, you tend to just sway all automatically. So just pay attention if you already are. And then if you're not, you're going to add some swaying. So shift a little forward, a little left, right, back. And just notice how the weight travels around in your feet. And now find a place where it feels like all portions of your feet are anchored strongly into the mat and kind of set in cement. Know that that's going to change once you add some balance to it, but feel the grounding here. And then from that, lift up and through the front of the thighs. Tailbone goes down towards your heels. Sides of your waist draw in to lift your rib cage up, chest up, crown of the head tall. Good. And then release your arms and open your eyes. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold at your hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, stretch your chest to the front of your mat. Keep your gaze here, your shoulders here. Exhale, step into plank pose. You moved your hands. Exhale, lower halfway down on the next one into Chaturanga. Flip your toes. Inhale, back bend, chest wide. And then exhale, press the floor down, fold at your hips, downward facing. And again, once you're in down dog, really still. Root of the hands, balls of the feet, perhaps the heels if yours touch. Get those 2 points to anchor strongly. And then from that, lift your hips up and back by pressing the thighs back. Nicole desperately wants to jump to the front of her mat. Ready? Look forward. Walk or hop your feet between your hands. Inhale, widen your collarbones. Exhale, fold at your hips. Inhale, come up to standing, arms alongside your ears. And exhale, hands to your heart. So eliminate as much fidgeting and as much extra movement as possible this time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. Inhale, chest forward, look up. Exhale, palms planted, step or hop into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll up and back, downward facing dog. And then still again. Neck relaxed. Hold your eyes steady on one point. Part of balancing is holding your gaze still. As soon as your eyes move, your body goes with it. It's a lot easier to balance with your hands and feet on the floor, so you might as well practice it now. All right, look forward, walk or hop to the front again. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale to come all the way up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, join your hands together. One more time, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze forward, look up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, knees up off of the mat, thighs lifted. Exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, walk your hands all the way back until they meet your feet. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And inhale, bring yourself all the way up to standing with a flat back. Okay, join your feet all the way together and have your hands on your hips again. I'm going to start with tree pose. So pick your right foot up, straight leg, and send your heel towards the front of your mat. Turn your right toes out to the side, and then with your right hand, loop your right ankle and bring the foot to the inner thigh. Start with your knee facing kind of a 45-degree angle towards the right corner of your mat. Now look down at your hip points, square them to the front of your mat. Make sure they're level from left to right. If they're not, drop your right foot a little lower and put it anywhere but on your knee. And then look up again and find a point to steady your eyes on. Squeeze your outer left thigh into your right foot, and at the same time, press your right foot into your inner thigh. I think about it like making my left leg into the innards of a grilled cheese sandwich, like a really good pressed one. Right? Once you hold those 2 points together, with your outer right hip, you can start to draw the right knee wider, but do it without allowing your pelvis to torque, and you're holding it with your hands, so keep it square to the front of your mat. Right now, hands can come together at heart center. If you've unfocused your eyes, put them back on one point. Stand strong into your left foot, especially the inner edge. And when you do that, outer hip, foot, again, make the sandwich out of your leg. Right now, reach your arms up alongside your ears. Just like you would in down dog, roll your outer arms to the front of your mat. Keep your tailbone descending, but the center of the top of your chest lifting. And now, if you've got balance and it's going well, if you've fallen out a million times, just keep coming back in. It doesn't matter. If balance is great today, go ahead and start to look up. Even if you don't normally, play with the idea of looking up. Sometimes the lighting in the room matters too. I blame it on that all the time. If you're looking up and that's going well and you can keep your arms straight, touch your palms together. Good, ladies. Very nice. All right, look forward first, hands back down to your hips, and release your right foot down to meet your left. Okay, second side. So stand strong into your right foot, keep your outer hip hugging in, pick your left foot up, legs straight, heel forward. And just find the rotation first, turn your toes to the left, drag the foot in, grab it, and bring it as high as you can without torquing left to right or front to back. Hands to your hips, look down, these 2 points of your hips, square them to the front, level them from left to right, and then hold them there. Press your foot and your thigh together. Lift your chest up as your tailbone descends. Pick a point with your eyes and hold them there. Bring your hands together at heart center. Okay. Good. Subtle, small movements to start. A little more height in the chest as you push the foot down. Get into the inner edge of the right foot more as you press the left foot into the inner thigh. Now arms can go up alongside your ears. Rub the outer arms forward. Nice amount of space for the base of your neck. Reach higher and higher. Go slowly. Nothing else has to move. It's just your gaze. Start to turn that up as you lift your chest. If that goes well, once your eyes are up, start to bring your palms together. Once your palms are together, hold your gaze steady. Press your right foot down and breathe. Good. Bring your hands back down as you gaze forward. Bring them to your hips. Set your left foot hip distance apart from your right. Inhale, lift your chest up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look up. Exhale, walk forward into downward facing dog. I have this whole vision of all of the people at home doing that, and I'm the teacher and I'm trying not to walk around to not make them unbalanced, and I just had visions of dogs running in and out of rooms while you're trying to balance. Don't look at the dog, look at the wall. All right, step your right foot all the way through your hands. Spin your back heel flat. Line up heel to arch. If you need a block to keep your right side waist long, put it under your right hand. Turn your chest to the left and reach your left arm up. Root into the outer edge of your left foot. And this is just like tree pose, except you have both feet on the ground here. So back leg is straight like the tree pose leg. Press the right heel down. Roll your right hip under your body so your knee moves into your inner arm. Turn your top palm to the front of the mat and reach that arm over. So get the left side of your body to feel like it did in tree pose. That one straight line from the outer heel through the left fingertips. Bend in your right knee, keeping the weight in your heel to do that. And then roll your chest open and lift the very center of the top of your chest towards your chin. Good. And then from here, take your top arm back up to the ceiling, look down, and inhale, bring yourself up to warrior two. Okay, you're gonna hold once you're here. Press the outer edge of your back foot again. Press the center of your right heel. Let your inner right thigh roll up, the hips swing under you, hip, knee in one line facing straight ahead, and then chest square to the side of your mat. And then hold your eyes steady again. We're going somewhere after this. It'll require balance in the same efforts that you're doing with both feet on the ground. Bend more deeply. If the weight shifts into your toes, put it back in your heel. Put it in the outer edge of your back foot. Steady in and out with your breath, and then always gaze, and then body as still as possible too. The more you fidget, the harder it is to balance when you're on one foot. Good. Right, straighten your right leg out. Step your left foot forward to meet your right foot at the front of your mat and join your hands together. Okay, so we're going to do flying pigeon prep from here. We're not going to do the full arm balance. It's just the balanced portion of it. So hands back to your hips again. Just like you got into tree pose, reach your right leg forward, flex the ankle. Turn your toes to the side. Now ankle over knee. Now stay standing up. Hold your hands on your hips. Keep your hip points square to the front of your mat. If your knee goes all the way out to the side like these two ladies, fine. If it's facing kind of a 45, that's okay too. Now keep the weight balanced in your whole left foot and start to bend your left knee like you were going to chair pose. Okay. Once you're halfway down, like Janice, her left tush is sticking out to the side. Hug it back in. Good. Sit a little deeper. Put the weight in your left heel. Good. Reach your arms alongside your ears. Sit more deeply. Keep flexing your right ankle so the toes are pulling straight back towards your knee. It doesn't matter how wide the knee is today. It's not about that. It's about the balance. And we're not folding. You're just staying here. Good. Come on, Janice. Get that left hip in. There you go. Janice was complaining before this started that she couldn't feel her outer hips. She will. All right, stand yourself all the way back up. Let go of your right leg. Hands together at heart center. Mountain pose. All right, sun salute. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward, look up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Right, take yourself through a vinyasa back to downward facing dog. Good. Okay, left side. Step your left foot all the way forward, spin your right heel flat, and line up heel to arch. Okay, hand to the outside, turn to the right, and take your right arm to the ceiling. Good. Get the back foot to feel grounded, just like it has been in the entire class. That's going to be your balancing foot when you stand up in a moment into the flying pigeon. Top of your right thigh, press it back. Center of your left heel, press it down. And here, I mean, you're doing the same thing as you're going to do in flying pigeon, so you can think about that effort of flexing your left ankle so that when you stand up, it's the same thing. Hip is going to swing under, so your left knee presses into your inner left arm. Turn your top palm forward and reach that arm over. So it's a different look completely, but it's the exact same efforts as when you're standing. So anchor the back leg, stretch the right side of your body. Turn your chest open, lift the center of your chest to your chin. Eyes hold still, breath is smooth and even. Good. And then take your top arm up, look down, and on an inhale, come up to warrior two and land there. If you need to widen your stance a little when you get up, you always can, so your knee is directly over your ankle. Okay, firm the back leg straight. Something weird happening with your hips here today. Okay, once your back leg is straight, send the hip underneath of you, the knee straight ahead. That's better now, firm that. There we go. Drop your belly down, or drop your belly in, drop your tailbone down, and then square your collarbones to the side of your mat without letting your hips shift. Much better. Hold your eyes still again. Keep bending into the front knee. Weight stays in the heel and the outer edge of your back foot. Yeah, you're all shifted too. All sorts of things happening today. Good. It's the planets. Don't think it is. Straighten, you just might be, you put your chest in the wrong place. Straighten your left leg out. Step to the front of your mat and bring your hands to your hips. That was a reach. Keep your hands on your hips and do flying pigeon prep on the other side. So lift your left leg up, flex your ankle. Turn your left toes out to face the side of the room. Bend your knee and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Okay, now, keep the hips square and forward. It's really easy to sit into the outer edge of your right foot and let the hip jut out. You're going to avoid that. Squeeze it in like you did in tree and start to sit down like chair. Okay, shift the right shin back as you go. Keep going. I didn't say anything about lift your arms yet. Keep your hands on your hips. Janice isn't even bending her knee yet. Bend your knee, Janice. Right, lift the center of your chest up. Good. All right, now reach your arms alongside your ears. Keep flexing your left ankle, drawing the knee wide without letting your right hip jut to the side. Keep firming it in like you were making a sandwich out of your right thigh in tree pose. Sit a little deeper. Hold your eyes still. Good. All right. Press down, stand up, feet together, hands together at your heart. All right. Inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, chair pose, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, straighten your legs. Inhale, stretch your chest to the front of your mat, and exhale through a vinyasa to down dog. All right. right, from downward facing dog, step your right foot forward, spin your back heel flat at an angle. Inhale up to warrior one, just with breath up to the top. Make sure your back leg is straight. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the mat and through a vinyasa to down dog. We're just going to do a few Bs to warm up a little bit more. Then glide your left foot forward, spin your right heel flat, straight back knee. Inhale, come up. Make sure your right pinky toe is down on the mat. And then exhale, hands down, slowly lower into chaturanga. Inhale, widen your collarbones. Keep them wide. Exhale, fold at your hips, down dog and hold. Right, so now we're going to work on some neutral hip standing poses that involve balancing. So that'll mean your hips are either square to the floor or square to the mat. It's kind of the same thing we've done, except there was a turned out leg before. Right, look forward, press the floor down, walk or hop your feet up. Inhale, chest up, and exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, inhale, and sink into chair pose. And exhale, stand, hands to your heart, mountain pose. One more time, Surya B. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, press back, down dog. Be precise. Drive your right foot forward. Spin your back heel flat. Nice steady inhale to the top with no fidgeting. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back and lower. And inhale, lift up. And exhale, press up and back. Left foot, send it forward. Ground your right heel. Inhale up to the top. And then exhale, hands back down. Step back. And lower down slow. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, press yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. Okay, just a few breaths. Again, hold your eyes steady on some point between either your feet or your inner thighs. Hands pressing strongly, and same with your feet. And then now come back to that idea that we introduced at the beginning with the inner thighs hugging together, rolling back. Go all the way as low as your inner shins today too, so that your outer legs feel like they're drawing in. And without lifting your leg, bring your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the mat. Straighten your right leg out and fold forward over it. You can uncurl your back toes or you can keep them curled. It doesn't particularly matter. Have your right toes facing straight up. Put your hands directly underneath of your shoulders. You can be high on 10 fingers. You can even take your 2 blocks if you need them so that your chest feels wide, your back feels nice and flat, and your right leg is completely straight. Now, press your right heel down into the mat as you pull your toes back. Once you do that, press your calf up towards the ceiling slightly. It'll put a tiny bend in your knee. Firm your quad muscle. Lift your kneecap up at the same time as you do that. And now, even though your legs aren't next to one another, firm them together like they were in down dog. Widen your collarbones and use your belly like you would in a plank pose to support your low back. Draw the navel in just a little bit. Right, now bend your right knee, move your hands forward, lift your back knee up, spin the back heel flat, walk yourself to the left to half turn, turn your toes in until your feet are parallel with one another. Okay, line up your heels, inhale, pull your chest forward and up, and then exhale, fold yourself forward into Prasarita Padottanasana A. Move your hands back if your elbows are bent, and look at your arms and treat them like they were chaturanga arms. So whole hand evenly presses, elbows draw in, shoulder heads lift up and collarbones get broad by pressing your upper back in. And the same thing you just did when you were in that lunge. Tiny bit of a bend in the knees so you feel your hamstrings begin to work, and then engage your quads as well. Your legs are wide, but they're next to each other at least. Hug them together, thinking about picking something up and holding it away from the floor. Right, and then press into your hands and inhale, pull your chest forward, widening it even further. And then exhale, walk yourself a quarter turn back to the right, come into a high lunge. Inhale to step to plank pose. Exhale to lower halfway down. Inhale, chest up for up dog. And exhale, press yourself back, downward facing dog. Once you're in this downward facing dog, if your blocks aren't by the back edge of your mat already, you're going to drop down, move them to the back edge of your mat so you can grab them. Okay. All right. And then back into downward facing dog. Lift your left leg to the height of your hip. Okay, flex the ankle, left big toe facing down like when you were on all fours. Right, now walk your hands back until they end up under your shoulders and your right heel hits the mat. It'll feel like your right hip is right over top of your heel. Move your blocks underneath your shoulders the tallest way they'll go. And then place your hands on them. Okay, to start, don't worry about your spine so much. Look back at your left foot, flex the ankle, steer the big toe down, firm your right hip in, hug your legs together as you spin your inner right thigh to the back of your mat and your inner left thigh to the ceiling. Right now, hold your legs like this, pull your chest forward and widen your collarbones. Start to look forward. Right now, both of you, lift your back leg 2 inches higher from the inner thigh like when you were doing opposite arm, opposite leg on the floor. Right now, pull your belly in like you did in plank. Re-widen your collarbones, use your upper back like you did in Shalabhasana when you were lying on your belly. And then if you can hold all of that, start to make your fingertips light. Do it at the same time, both hands. And then, if everything's going well, lift that back leg, Nicole. Then, maybe bring your hands just to prayer today. Go as far as that. Gorgeous. Hips hugging together, thighs hugging together, but the inner left thigh continuing to lift the back leg to the ceiling, chest to the front of your mat. These are stunning. And then eyes steady. Excellent. Hands back down to the blocks. Bring your left foot down hip distance apart from your right. Move your blocks just over to the side. You're going to need them again for the other side. Right. And then inhale, chest up. And exhale, walk forward into downward facing dog. And from here, you'll take a vinyasa. Inhale, glide forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, up and back, down dog. Okay, second side, bring your left foot between your hands, lower your right knee down to the mat, uncurl the toes or don't, but straighten your left leg and move your hands back just until they're under your shoulders. Okay. Left big toe, when it faces up to the ceiling, you're there. Widen your collarbones, push your left heel down. As you do that, take your left calf up to the ceiling a tiny amount, then firm your quad. Okay, so you're establishing your standing leg here for warrior 3. Squeeze your thighs together, pull your belly in a little, work your upper back and widen your collarbones. Good. Bend your left knee, move your hands forward, pick your back knee up, curl the toes under, spin the heel flat. This time walk to the right, parallel your heels. Good. Make a hook with your index finger and middle finger and grab your toes. Inhale, pull your chest forward, and then exhale, fold forward and take your elbows to the sides. Shift until your hips are over your heels, like they'll be in Warrior 3. Lift up through your quads. Push your calves into your shins slightly and feel your hamstrings work in addition to your quads. Roll your inner thighs towards whatever wall you're looking at and hug your legs together like you're holding something very precious away from the floor, like $1 million. Like $1 million bill. Lift your shoulders up and upper back into your chest. That'd be a real shame if you had $1 million bill and you lost it. It's like the worst day ever. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look up. And then exhale, walk a quarter turn back around to your left into plank pose. Send your left foot back into plank as you inhale, and then exhale through a vinyasa back to down dog. Nicole, scoot yourself forward a little. Yeah, there we go. All right, second side. So blocks handy. Lift your right leg up to the height of your hip. Walk your hands back until they hit a place where they're under your shoulders. Your left hip is stacked over your left heel. Right? Move your blocks underneath of your shoulders, the tall way again. So it's not punishment to keep them the tall way. It's to establish the alignment. It's really worth it. It's actually harder to do it this way. Look at your right toe. The big one, send it down. Firm your legs straight. Hug your left hip in until your left foot feels even. Hug your legs together, despite they're not anywhere near each other. Spin your inner right thigh up. Good. Now pull your chest forward as you draw your belly in. Come up onto your fingertips. Keep doing those things. Legs together, left foot grounded. Inner right thigh up, heel back. Belly in, chest up, hands can get lighter. If they get so light they come to prayer, fine, but hold your eyes steady on one point. And then once you're up, you're just looking to hold still and continue the actions. Flex your right ankle more, Nicole. Ah, good. Breathe. I get very tense in my own body when they're doing this. I'm standing here like a statue. These are gorgeous. Hands back down to the blocks. Bring your right foot down hip distance apart from your left. Move your blocks off to the side. Now move them to the front of your mat. You're going to need them in a moment again. Okay. And then inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, walk forward into downward facing dog. And then inhale, shift into plank pose. Exhale, lower slow, chaturanga. And all the way through a vinyasa to down dog. Good. Okay, now look forward, bend your knees, and walk or hop yourself to the front of your mat. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, fold forward. Heel toe your feet out to mat distance apart. Okay. Have your second toe in line with your heels. And then inhale, pull your chest forward and widen your collarbones until you feel like your upper back is moving into your chest. If you need to be on a block for this, you can put a block underneath just the center line of your mat. Yeah, so put it under the middle, Janice, and you can have it kind of the medium way. Good. Right, now, hug your legs together again. Spin your inner thighs to the back of your mat. Turn your chest to the right and reach your right arm up to the ceiling. You can move your left hand a little bit into the midline if you need to. Look for a balanced amount of weight from left to right foot and heel to toe. Upper back moves in. Twist from the spine that starts at the base of your rib cage through your neck. Good. Collarbones wide. Steady gaze again. I'm just going to progressively make a twisted balancing pose harder and harder. Right hand comes down. Inhale, pull your chest forward again. And then exhale, twist to the left. Left arm goes up. Okay, weight balance left to right foot. Inner thighs roll back and hug together. Upper back moves in, like you just did in Warrior 3. And then you just add that element of the twist. Right ribs down, left ribs up. Good. And then bring your left hand down to the mat. Heel toe your feet to hip distance apart. Inhale, flat back, chest up. Exhale, hands to your hips. And inhale, come all the way up to standing. Right? Join your feet together and have your blocks handy again. Right? So you can scoot yourself a little bit back from the front of your mat if you'd like. You can stay at the front, it doesn't particularly matter. You step your left foot back about 2.5, 3 feet and line up heel to heel. Okay, if you're going to modify, you're going to set a block up to your inner right foot. Okay, right hand will stay on your hip. Left arm is going to go straight up to the ceiling. Square your hips and chest to the front of your mat, keeping both legs straight and your feet evenly grounded. Now do that same thing. Roll your inner thighs in and squeeze them together. Exhale, fold forward halfway. Inhale, stretch your chest to the front of your mat, and then exhale, plant your left hand down on the block, inside or outside of your hand, whatever keeps your spine long and your hips square. Take another inhale for a little more length, and then exhale, twist and reach your right arm up. Okay, so right now you've got both feet on the ground and a hand. You're going to get a little bit more complicated with this in a moment. Feel the legs doing that same work, outer hips drawing in particular, feet firmly grounded. Gaze steady and chest open. Good. And now you're going to turn this into a twist, so don't undo the alignment. Just look down with your gaze so you have a steady place to gaze. And then bend your right knee. Keep your chest open. Move your left hand forward under your shoulder and lift your back leg up like a Warrior 3 leg. Good. Twisted half moon. Keep flexing your left ankle, lifting from the inner thigh. Right foot evenly planted, hips hugging together. Chest forward, belly in, and then twist. Once you're there, hold your eyes on one point. And it gets very, very tiny in the amount of actual movement you're doing. It just comes into what's happening in your upper back to twist you. Everything else stays fairly steady. These are gorgeous. Very nice. Okay, last breath. And then bring your right hand down, your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, pull your chest forward and look up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And inhale, bring yourself all the way up to standing. Very good. All right, side 2. So stand on your left foot, put your right foot back a couple of feet, line up heel to heel, right toes facing out slightly. Set up your block if you're going to use it for twisted triangle and twisted half moon. It's better to use it than to not. I have to use one. Right arm, take it up. Press your feet, firm your thighs and your hamstrings, hug your legs together. On your next exhale, fold halfway. Okay, put your hand down. Inhale to re-lengthen your front body. And then exhale, Right? Put your hand down, Nicole. Go for it. Inhale one more time, chest up, and then exhale. Now add the twist. Good. Where's the weight in the feet? Right now, evenly in both. One leg is going to lift up, but you'll still send the same amount of energy through your back leg in a moment. So pay attention to the weight in the outer heel. Pay attention to the weight evenly grounding in your left foot, thighs hugging together as you roll them back, and then chest wide. Okay, you're already there. As much as you can, try not to undo the alignment. First, gaze down. That's just one movement. Right? Then, bend your left knee, move the hand forward, and lift your back leg up. As little fidgeting as possible, as much control as possible, make the balance easier. Press your left foot, reach through your right heel. Firm your left hip in, roll your inner right thigh to the ceiling, squeeze your legs together like they were next to one another. Pull your belly in for your lower back, widen your collarbones by engaging your upper back. Twist your chest open by wrapping your right ribs down without letting your hips change where they are in space. These are very good. One more breath. And then bring your left hand down, your right foot down, hip distance from your left. Inhale, flat back, chest up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, flat back to stand. All right, last standing pose. So Uttadhasta Padangusthasana. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. If you fall out at any time, it's totally fine. You come right back in. Okay, so from here, you're going to put your left hand on your hip, pick your right foot up, and grab your right knee to start with. Flex your right ankle and send both sets of your toes facing forward. Okay, grab your right knee, Nicole, with your right hand. There you go, like this. Look at me. There you go. All right, now stand into your left foot, left leg very straight, chest up. This should feel like mountain pose in the whole, in every part of your body except your right hip. If you can hold on to that, make a hook, grab your right big toe, and send the heel forward. If you can't, you're going to hold the knee the entire time. Okay, keep firming your thighs together like they were next to each other, and then lift your chest up. Firm the standing leg. Nicole, firm that standing leg. Press your thigh back. There you go. Good. Hips level to the floor. Nothing changes. It's just from your right hip socket. Gaze steadily forward. Take your right leg out to the right. It'll stop at kind of a 45-degree angle. Janice fell out. She's going to come back in. It's no big deal. Keep your left hand on your hip. Go traditional today. Right. If your balance is good, if it's going well, you can look over your left shoulder. Belly in, chest wide. Pay attention to how you're having to do a little wobble in your left foot. That's fine. Look forward. Inhale, draw your right leg back to center. Keep breathing. Take your left hand, reach and grab the outer edge of your right foot or the outer edge of your right knee. Stand up tall again and firm your thighs together. Twist to the right and start to look over your right shoulder. Janice didn't know what this pose was a moment ago, so she's showing that it takes a long time to do this one. Press your right foot into your hand and your hand into your foot. Send your right hip forward. Just go with it. It's okay. Good. All right, come back to center. Gaze forward. Arms up. Right leg stays up. Hold it. Okay, feet together, hands together. All right, second side. So it doesn't matter. It takes a really long time, especially the twisted one. It's not traditional necessarily. So if you come in and out, so be it. All right, right hand on your hip, pick your left foot up, we'll start grabbing the knee. So you're always looking for that standing leg. It's been a theme in all these standing poses. The standing leg needs to be straight, strong, anchor the foot. If you can do that and straighten your left leg, fine. Grab the big toe and send the foot forward, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Chest up, but belly in. Steady gaze. Good. Hold your gaze steady without letting your hips torque. Just take your left leg out to the left, probably about 45 degrees out to the side, and then hold again. Firming the standing leg, hugging the outer hip in. Maybe look over your right shoulder. Ooh. Good. All right, look forward again. Inhale, bring the left leg back to center. Once you're steady, with your right hand, grab the outer foot or your knee. Stand up tall, straighten the standing leg. Add the twist like you just did in Twisted Half Moon. It's just the standing up version of that same exact pose, and reach your left arm back. If you push your foot and hand or knee and hand together, it will help stabilize you. Good. Eyes holding still, breath calm. Come on back to center, much better on that side. Reach your arms up, your leg up, commit to it, last thing. And then feet together, hands together. And give yourself a huge pat on the back for doing that. All right, that was great. Inhale, arms reach up. Thank you, you guys. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold forward. Inhale, chest up, look forward. Exhale, vinyasa, all the way through it. You can always step into downward facing dog. Good. All right, let's do a little unwind here. So look forward and hop or step all the way through to lying down. Okay. So we're going to start with bridge pose, but if Urdhva Dhanurasana or upward bow is part of your practice, we did a good amount of upper back stuff today, so it would probably feel okay. So Nicole's going to go all the way up. Janice is going to stay with bridge. So feet hip distance and a little further forward than your knees and arms alongside your body. And press your feet down, and on an inhale, lift your hips up away from the floor. Okay, move your shoulders underneath of you, clasp hold of your fingers, and press the entire length of your arm down into the floor. Right, so if you have hyperextension in your elbows, it'll mean once your wrists are touching and your shoulders are touching, your elbows aren't. So push your elbows down as well. If your arms aren't touching the floor at all, grab the sides of your mat. It's much more effective. And then come back to your feet. They should feel even like they have all day, even though you have much more of your body touching the floor. And this is by no means a balance. Move your upper back in so your chest widens by pressing your outer shoulders. Split your arms apart and lower yourself down. Okay, so if you're going to stay with bridge, like Janice's, you're going to go up one more time with that in a moment. If you're going to Urdhva Dhanurasana, put your hands under your shoulders. Okay, press your hands down and draw your elbows in so the tips of your elbows face up to the ceiling. Now both of you inhale and lift your hips up away from the floor. Walk your shoulders under Janice. On your next inhale, Nicole, bring yourself up to the crown of your head. Okay, once you're on the crown of your head, draw your elbows in again. Keep your head on the mat, lift your shoulders away from the floor. Keep your head on the mat, press your chest towards the wall that you're looking at. Keep going, 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 press, 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 press. And then on your next inhale, start to straighten your arms. Good. Okay. Outer arms wrap to the back of your mat, upper back in, tailbone to your knees, both poses, feet evenly planted. Good. Oh, slippery, huh? Woo! It's like it's a challenge. It's like on an ice skating rink. That's how you make yoga harder. We'll do it on ice. Okay, duck your chin, lower yourself all the way down. That would be so awful. And then separate your feet to mats distance apart. Let your knees come together. Put your hands on your belly or alongside of you. You can close your eyes too. Okay, so part of learning balancing poses, some of us it comes pretty easily to, some it doesn't. And it really depends on a lot of factors. The day, sometimes some sinus stuff can be involved. There's just all sorts of things. How much sleep. Have a sense of humor about it. It's really not that serious whether you balance in tree pose or not. It's your approach. You try. And the trying is much more important than the doing. It's like Yoda. All right. Hug your right knee in. Reach your left leg forward. And a simple supine twist. Drop your right knee to the left. Take your right arm out like a T. Look over your right shoulder. And close your eyes or keep them open. Sometimes closing them, it unbalances you in the sense that all of a sudden your mind is free to roam. In these final finishing poses, if you're finding that, you can keep your eyes open, look at one point, and continue with that idea of steadiness simply through your gaze. And then come back up and hug your left knee in, extending your right leg forward and twist the other way. Oh, pardon me, madame. Let me just take care of those for you. There you go. And then inhale, come on back up. Hug both knees into your chest, and you're going to rock all the way up to seated. So if you don't do double pigeon, if that's not in your practice, you can stay lying down on your back and do thread the needle. Right ankle over left knee, just like you did in flying pigeon prep. Otherwise, you're going to do double pigeon, right ankle on top of your left knee, left ankle under your right knee, feet flexed and toes back. Okay, chest up, and then walk yourself forward and fold. If your right knee is not anywhere near your left ankle, you can stay seated. It's a big hip opener, but make sure your toes and your knee are facing the same direction so they're not torqued to the side. And then again, if you get in this, you normally close your eyes and your mind does a million different things. That's a sense of unbalance. That's a different practice than you've done all day. So maybe consider keeping your eyes open and focusing them on one point. It's not easy, but it can really help to keep you here and to keep your mind a little steadier. And come back to your breathing, just soft and steady. Don't need to guide it quite as much now. And slowly walk yourself all the way up and change the cross of your legs. So if you're on your back, change ankle over knee. If you're seated, double pigeon other side. And fold yourself forward. A lot of this has been about being still. As much as you can in this final side of your hips, hold really still. It's not easy to hold still. That's why balancing poses are really hard. That's a challenge for us. We don't oftentimes stand completely still like statues. But being still is part of this practice. And in this pose, this hip opener, the challenge is to hold still despite the opening in your hip. We've done a lot of it already, so perhaps it's a little easier. Commit to it. Let your breath move in and out. Everything else, eyes, body, still. And walk yourself all the way back up. Reach your legs out in front of you into Dandasana and put your hands next to your hips. So you can have your feet together, you can have them a little bit wider, like your hips width apart. Sit up tall through your chest, push your heels, your thighs, and your sit bones down evenly. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, and grab your feet, your shins, wrap a strap or a towel around your feet. Inhale for a little bit more length, anchoring your sit bones, just like your feet all day, and then exhale, fold. And again, still. It's a little theme today. Eyes, body, and then your breath moves. And inhale, pull your chest forward and up. Pause to exhale out. Inhale, sit yourself all the way up. And exhale, lie down on your back and set up into Shavasana. So legs flap open as wide as you like, arms as wide as you like, to have your palms easily turn up to the ceiling. Eyes closed. We'll close the same way we started. So first, get your body still into a position where you know you can hold it that way. If you need to cover your eyes with something to keep them closed, cover them. Watch your breath. Draw an inhale in through your nose, all the way up until you feel the top of your chest lift. And then open your mouth, exhale, let that breath go. Again, inhale, big breath through your nose. And then out through your mouth. And one final time, smooth, deep inhale. And then an exhale. And go back to in and out through your nose. The softness to your breath like you would naturally have if you were resting. Body stays still. Pay attention to if your eyes are concentrating still, and let them drop down. And then hold still.